Hello student. Today I will start the third part of the data science, which is related to how can you plot the data using the Python. So there are the two different kinds of the library. One is the Matplotlib, one is the cbar. Using these two things, we can do the various kinds of the visualization in the Python. So when you have the data set without doing any visualization, we cannot make a idea about the data. Okay, so for that we need to do lots of uh, we need to draw the lots of plots in Python. Okay, so it is very easy for plotting the graph in Python. If you want to do the graph in Excel as well as the some other softwares like Origin. Right? So after plotting the graph, you can get some idea, then you can proceed with the data set. So what are the these kinds of the what are the things we can do using the Python Matplotlib library C1? This I will discuss today, followed by the next three lectures. So first I want to discuss about the annotation. Okay, so annotation means so if you plot that, so I'm going to the next slide. So here if you plot the graph, suppose some graph we have plotted. So when you write suppose x is equal to something, y is equal to using some function, you can plot the graph. After plotting graph, you can see the this graph, some line you can see. Annotation means if you want to point out something from the onto the graph, onto the line, that is the annotation. Okay. Suppose there is line, what you want to identify, what you want to tell about the graph. Suppose there is a this point. What is point? Suppose if you plot, if you see the semiconductor, the IB curve, if you plot, so there is one boundary or point that is a knee point. So you can identify the knee point by putting one arrow, and you can write as a knee point, like. Similarly, here also we can do. Okay, so using the panda. Mm, so this, if want to identify anything on the graph, also this concept is called the annotation concept. The annotation concept. Okay. Suppose here the x is some data 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We can store the data in the form of the list in x and y. After that, so for how we'll plot. So before that, first line is that import matplotlib pyplot as a plt. This we have to call. So this is a library you have to import into the system. Okay, so import matplotlib not pyplot as a plt. After that, you can declare the x value, you can declare the y values, then you can plot the graph between x and y. So there is a plot function under the matplot library. So matplot library, this we have already renamed as a plt, the plt.plot. Then you can write, first you have to mention the x, and then you have to mention y. So this line is not mandatory. You can also ignore this line. That means you want to point out the how many points are there. So all the points you want to symbol as a circle. So that is the marker is equal to O. Marker is equal to star asterisk. If you give the point will be like as a asterisk, like this. This is if you not include marker, you can see this normal straight line. For identifying the how many points are there in a graph, for that you can use the marker. Then I am to identify, suppose this point I want to identify something. The threshold point, suppose this is the threshold point. So you want to write here threshold. So how will write? So annotate function is there. So plt.annotate, then you have to write the text you want to add here. The text you have to, suppose threshold you have to add. So string. The colon within single quote you have to write the simple text annotation. Here it is there. Then x 4 comma, for which point you want to add the text 4 comma 8 is the point. Okay, so this x y is equal to 4 comma 8. X y text means where the text will be located. The text will be located when x is 2.5, and the y is 9. At in this location, the text will be positioned. Okay, so that's why XY text. XY text means the text position. XY means the point. For a particular point, you want to add the text, this point. The font size, color, font size is equal to L, color is equal to red. This it's up to you. If you not write, it's automatically it will get some color and the some text, some font size. Okay, so if you want to add the some argument in the annotate, first is the text, whatever the text you want to add in the graph. Second is the which point you want to identify and the position of the text. After the font size and color, these are the not mandatory. Then if you write plt.show, the plot will be appeared in front of you. Okay, so plt.show you have to write. If you not write, it will not. So plot will be drawn, but it will not be appear in the front end. Okay, so this is about how to add the some annotation in the graph. Suppose now you want to suppose in the previous step what we have seen, we have just seen the text we are adding. But if you want to add the arrow, because if you add the text, we will not easily identify which point you are identifying, this point or this point. So you want to add a arrow also. Okay, so like this way x and y and plt plot you can write, and plt dot annotate, the text is the peak, which point 3 comma 5 I am to identify, and the text will be peak, the position of the peak will be 3.5 comma 6. Then you have to add the arrow. So what the arrow properties function is, the arrow props you have to write, and through the dictionary you have to add the property how the arrow will be look like. Okay, either it is bar format or arrow format or some other format, or what will be the color of the arrow. So through the dictionary, the arrow properties, when you add some variable in the arrow properties, arrow will be appear. Under this annotate function only I am writing arrow property. Okay, see comma, then arrow props is equal to dictionary, face color black, the color will be black. Arrow style is equal to arrow only. Arrow style will be arrow only. It's not like a different. The font size 10, and then you can close the bracket. This bracket is related to this one. So arrow properties, through the arrow properties you can add the arrow and you can change the properties of the arrow also. Now, so if you not write anything, or if you only write plot, only the graph will appear. You want to identify what is the graph, what is the x-axis and y-axis. Without this, the graph will be incomplete. So the plt.x label you have to adding the x something into the x-axis. So you can write x-axis, whatever you plot, you can write, suppose voltage, some other thing you can write. Plt.y label, also y-axis you can write the different thing. Then if you want to add title, the plt dot title, then you can add the graph of the title of the graph. The plt dot grid within bracket true, that grid line will appear. If you not write, green line will not appear. At the end, you have to write plt dot show. So the different arrow style is there. Then arrow properties dictionary. So arrow style you have to write. Suppose there was the arrow. So there the hyphen and the third bracket. This is the arrow style. Which color purple, or you can give any other color. And for this one, for the different arrow, you have to add the differently. So plt dot annotate again we have written. Again we have written plt dot annotate. Bar arrow, xy text arrow properties, arrow style is the like bar we have given. Okay, in this way you can give the different style. Now how can you save the plot? You can save the plot in png file, jpg file, pdf file and the svg file. So x and y plot, plt dot plot, plt x label, plt y label, plt title, plt dot save fig if you write. Then while you want to save the file, that path you have to mention here, and the name of the file you have to add. Suppose we are adding the path of the file and then the name of the file .png. If you use the Google Colab, there is a local drive is there. You can give the local drive folder from here. From the local drive, you can copy the path and you can paste here under the save fix function, and the plot name you can give dot how do you want to say png file or jpeg. Then in this way you can change the plot and plt dot show. Okay. So now come to the what are the other thing we can do? What are the various kind of the plot we can do in the using the Matplotlib library? line chart, bar chart, histogram, scatter, pie, 3D, this we can do. So this all the thing we will discuss one by one. So line graph means, so suppose it is the linear graph, line graph only, no points are there, line will be there. Bar means this is kind of the graph in the right hand side, you can see the bar graph. So this like a bar, you have already seen in the maths how the bar graph will be look like. Um, so bar graph normally you have to plot if you have the categorical value. Okay, suppose in the data set you have the female and you have male. How many females, how many males are there? You can plot in the bar graph, or the oxygen percentage, nitrogen percentage, how many oxygen percentage, how many nitrogen percentage, like this way. Now you should prefer for the categorical value. So how can you do? Suppose the x, some values are there, a, b, c, d. Okay, and the y, 3, 8, 10, 11. Okay, so the x-axis will be the categorical and the y-axis will be the continuous value. So if you want to plot the graph between categorical versus continuously, so sometimes we prefer the bar plot. It depends on the requirement, what kind of the plot you want to draw, what is the requirement, what are the columns and are there in your data set, how many what are the natures of column, like this way. So plt dot bar, if you write the bar graph, you can plot. So if you want to change the color, the x comma y, then the color is equal to write this, so you have to write. So here horizontal bar, if you write bar h, so the bar will be like horizontal. And if you want to add the color is equal to red or color is equal to blue, black, like this you can add. Under the within the bar function only, x comma y comma color is equal to like. These are the thing we can do. So you can also adjust the width of the bar. So width is equal to 0.1, and here if we write like this, height is equal to 0.1, like this. So you can also adjust the width and the height of the bar. Now come to the histogram. Histogram plot normally used to prefer the frequency distribution of the column. Okay, suppose in a column so many values are there, continuous values are there. This is also related to continuous values. Suppose age is there, right? So human, the main age is there. So suppose 30 age is so for 10 15 students, 30 students are 30 age, 20 students are in 50 age, 5 students are in 40 range. Like this way values are available in the column. Okay, age column. So how the age is distributed, like, so this you can plot using the histogram. The continuous, the frequency, how many times the 30 age is there, how many times the 50 ages are available, how many times the 20 ages are available. So these two you can plot. Suppose in this graph you can see the 170, you can see the maximum histogram plot peak, and the 190 and 140 minimum. That means the 170 some values, as suppose salary is the 170. So 170 salary, the people who is having a 170 salary, the count is more. Then 160 count is less, then 150 count is less, like this way. 50 numbers of 160 values are available. 30 numbers of 160 values are available. Only few numbers of 140 values are available in a column. Okay, so this is the histogram plot. So what are the things you have to pass through histogram? np.random. So suppose first we are plotting on a or generating one continuous values. You can generate using the random function, the random dot normally, like this you can generate a value. Suppose you are giving 170, 10 to 50. That means the mean is the 170. 10 is the difference between each and every point, and the 250 is the total number of values are there, 250. Okay, so whatever values you are giving, like this way x will be generated, some array of the numbers. And if you want to plot the histogram of the x, you can see like this way. So 170 is the mean value. That way 170 is also the maximum count in the graph. And how many 160, 150, 140, these values are there. Okay, 180, 190 values are there. 250 numbers of values are there. Okay, so like this way you can visualize the histogram plot. Pie chart I will discuss in the next class. There are the various functionalities under there in the pie chart also. This I will discuss in the next class. I hope you like my video, and if you have any comment, you can write down in the comment section. Please like, share and subscribe my channel.